paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Welcome to Brainstorm Brewery, everybody. This is kind of a somber occasion, actually. I know we like to joke around on this cast, but it's come to my attention that I've been caught. For years, I was getting away with something very unethical on this podcast, and it's time to come clean. If you're one of our patrons, you go to patreon.com/BSB. You can have access to the spreadsheet where we put all our picks of the week in breaking bulk. And typically it's a contest between the three of us, and I always win. And some people have noted that it's very suspicious that a guy who's only been doing MTG finance for full time for a decade is good at predicting when card prices go up. And I'm picking cards that are going to go up at an unbelievable rate. I've been described as on fire lately, and I have to come clean. Every week, I spend between $3,000 and $10,000 buying out copies of my pick of the week so that I'll look smart on a podcast that's listened to by 900 people. It's not a good financial decision. My wife's very upset. I'm taking out huge loans. They're not organic spikes because they're just based on me trying to validate my own intelligence. So I can't ever sell them. So I'm left with all this useless cardboard. So if somebody at MTG Stocks could give us $10 a month and they could have access to the spreadsheet where we keep all our picks, they could track how often I'm nailing it because I'm a dirty cheater. I'm sorry that you had to find out that your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster, Jason Alt, is a fraud, essentially. But a couple of Reddit detectives, the same website that's responsible for catching not the Boston bomber suspect, couple of Reddit detectives found me out, and I got nowhere to run anymore. So I understand that you're all pretty disappointed in me, and all I can do is have another pick of the week that inevitably goes up, because again, I'm spending between $2,000 and $10,000 of my own money, just trying to make it go up so that people who listen to a podcast who already think I'm smart will think I'm more smart. So
Magic is secondary only to candles on your budget.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like the candles, I basically burn those specs because, again, who's going to play Infernal Genesis, in a world where you have a creature that gives all your opponent's creatures -1/-1 counters every turn and makes a bunch of tokens for you when you kill their 1/1s. I can't imagine why anyone would play that other than just play the game of stock market manipulation. So I don't know if I'm in trouble with the FEC or anything. So I've retained a lawyer, but I just wanted you to hear it first from me, that we're all big dirty cheaters. And I know there's some people out there like, isn't it a more reasonable explanation that Jason's just good at this because he's been doing it a long time? But that doesn't really bear itself out. It's the reason Seance is a $30 card, because anytime I call a card repeatedly, I will just go spend 10, 15, 20 grand to make it go up. And that's why Seance is so expensive. That was my first time doing that, and I've learned how to get even sneakier about it. So nowhere to run. I'm really sorry that I let everybody down, and that's all I wanted to say, everyone.
Well, Jason, thank you for coming clean. DJ and I have decided that we'll try to get through the podcast with through. Do appreciate the honesty.
Now, when my pick of the week this week inevitably doesn't go up, it'll be proof that I've stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And welcome to Brainstorm Brewery, everybody. You heard from Jason Alt there, who has been found out, I guess, by the internet. It got him. I'm Corbin Hostler, and we're joined by our third host, Douglas Johnson. DJ, welcome in.
Never accused of manipulating his picks.
Not once.
No?
Not once did I write 4,000 words about sponsor of Lumog on a website 7 years ago. Not once. Not a single time that I'd read all those words.
Look, let's talk about this in this sense. Content creators are responsible for moving card prices. And one of the interesting trends to me is that for a long time, if you even wrote about quote unquote Magic Finance, even if that was, here are the cards that went up last week, entirely retrospective, we're kind of sort of just labeled in the MTG Finance crowd, therefore you for all of these market minutes.
And it wasn't just people who were who hated MTG Finance. Someone in the MTG Finance community, who I won't name, but his initials are SS, accused me of doing a pump and dump on Tropical Island because I said that Bayou went up and it was in the same deck. So it's not just people who hate MTG Finance, it's people who think they're good at it.
Yep. But now it's interesting. It's Magic card prices have become such a meme that now it's more like you just see every content creator take their turn on Twitter. Oh, LOL, I spiked this card. And that's how it goes these days. And then we've talked, there's the command zone effect and I hate your deck effect. And there's Saffron Olive effect and all these different things that are responsible for moving card prices.
We do it though, because we might make some money. If someone has to pay $6 for a card that was 50 cents last week, but their, favorite deck builder did it, it's cute. Now I'm validating our parasocial relationship by paying $6 for this card, But if we do it and somebody might make money other than everyone losing money, that's a bad thing. And,
well, what's interesting is that we don't even, for the most part, we very rarely actually buy our picks just in terms of going. I almost never just, I need to go buy in a cash thing right now. We're more focused on the churning cards in and out.
We do the really non-sexy MTG Finance. It's funny, we always see on this cast that 95% of MTG Finance is just buying collections and selling them. And the 5% that is the sexy part is all anybody wants to hear about. Nobody wants our advice on how to meet a dude in a Starbucks parking lot and pay for cards that smell like cigarette smoke. Nobody wants that. They want us to give them the pick of the week to the extent that some people wish that was the whole podcast.
I like the pick of the week, but
hang on. So I tweeted a picture of a collection I bought earlier this week, where I posted a picture of my buy mat and I posted Sarah Sanctums and Phyrexian Altars and all this other crazy stuff that I found in someone's bulk. And the reason it was in their bulk is because when I went to buy the collection, I was like, I'll pick out everything that's worth buying separately so you don't get hosed selling elsewhere. And then somebody replied to that tweet and they said holy crap, none of the collections I ever buy look like this. This is crazy. You get so lucky. And I told them yeah, because I don't tweet pictures of the ones where I spend $100 and pick out dimes. That the unsexy stuff doesn't get posted. Literally the collection before that, I spent $180 and it was all occovered in dust and dirt and half the cards were sleeved, if you know what I mean, and upside down cards back and forth. There's just the occasional hair, and I probably don't make that. Probably wasn't worth my time to buy logistically, but I did it because I have a brand and that's what I do. But I didn't tweet a picture of that one. I tweeted a picture of the one that I knew would do well on social media, where there were Sarah Sanctums in bulk.
Picture an airplane covered in red dots.
So, while we're on the subject, look, none of this is to say that we don't have an effect. The point is just that everybody has an effect. Everybody in this market has an effect. And that's always been true.
I thought the thrust was we were going to ridicule the concept of us having an effect, because if we had an effect, we would have had an effect before now.
Look, everybody has an effect. Our effect, I think, is probably pales in comparison to many. But
our effect is to remind people to go to patreon.com/BSB. And hey, if I am a dirty market manipulator, don't you want my specs on Monday rather than Friday?
Good point.
Also,
Good point.
if you want Jason to be a market manipulator, if you want that description of him to be accurate, make him manipulate the price of our Patreon. Because, like, if more people subscribe to our Patreon and Jason's spec is that our Patreon will go up,
wow,
then that'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy, just like you upvoted, right? Like you upvoted
if I could make self-fulfilling prophecies, I'd be like, we will have 750 patrons at patreon.com/BSB by the end of the year.
My pick of the week is our Patreon.
Cool. Neat. I'll add one more thing on this topic, though, before we move on. Is that one of the other things...
We've beaten this topic to...
No. Listen, one of the other things that I think can also be what could be described as irresponsible is when somebody takes a picture of a card that's been bought out on TCG Player, and the median of the price, because one person listed it $5,000, whatever, is now very, very high, and they tweet a picture of it and say, "Oh, this card costs $800 now," and then people are like, "Well, this is $800 now. I better go buy the one for $600."
People do that every 3 months with Gaia's Cradle specifically.
That's what I'm talking about. And then people are like, "Well, I better go spend."
It's not a pleasant thing to do, but people.
I better go spend $600 on it. When in reality, the market price of the card and what the card's actually selling at was never that high. It was always lower, but they're driving the price up by just. Again,
getting everybody in FOMO mode.
Yeah, just putting a tweet out there that they know is going to do well on social media, even if it's not particularly accurate.
Yeah, every 3 months, Gaia's Cradle spikes to $2,000.
Yeah,
and then I sell more at the price that it was, and then it resettles at the price that it used to be, and then the cycle continues.
Yep.
My pick of the week is Gaia's Cradle. So
hard to be wrong.
Anyways, there you go. All right, let's get into Breaking Bulk.
Breaking Bulk time. Breaking Bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking Bulk. The end.
M14 Green Common, go.
What the hell is an
Copperhorn Scout? No, that was Garza Mirrodin.
It was also in a corset at some point, but it's not this one.
Okay, well, what is it? Let's try to figure out what M14 was. Is that right before Origins?
No, M15 was right before Origins. M14
was that Slivers?
It did have Slivers in it, but my pick is not Predatory Sliver. I will say that right now.
So this is Anaweft.
That is an uncommon.
Oh, you said common. Green common?
Mm-hmm.
How many times was it printed? Was this the only time it was printed?
No, this card's got like 10 printed. It's got a lot. I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot.
Is this the first time it was printed?
Yes. I am 99% sure of that.
Is it that aura?
No. It's a creature.
Jeez, this sucks. Was it always common?
Yes. It used to be an 18-cent card. It is now roughly a 57-cent card. But it is a card that you should absolutely pick every time, no matter what it is, because it moves so much in volume. I talk a lot about how Magic is a volume game and not a numbers game and not a metrics game. Like, this is a card that I want to have 1,000 of constantly at all times.
Is it Elvish Mystic?
Yep.
Man, that's...
Okay.
It wasn't until that explanation I'm like, that was a card that I immediately just said it can't be that.
Right, because like you think of it as a 3-set card because it's Elvish Mystic. There's millions of them. It's whatever. It's all over the place. It's got a million printings. But like, I list these for 54 cents and they sell constantly. And if they're on direct, then that means I get 27 cents for every copy constantly. And like there's a lot of quarter picks out there where it's like eventually it'll be on the buy list at some point, but for between 5 cents and 70 cents, this is just constant. This is you will always get a quarter for this if you're TCG direct, no matter what.
So
and you can find enough of them in bulk where it's like these will always be in there. There will always be Elvish Mystics. There will always be like the torn apart remnants of an elf deck that you buy in the collection, and you pick out like the Well Wishers and the Imperious Perfects, but you might leave the Elvish Mystics. Take the Elvish Mystics and the Llanowar Elves always.
For what it's worth,
Elvish Mystic is worth more than Imperious Perfect is right now.
Is that true? That's insane.
Would be insane. So for what it's worth, Elvish Mystic is about a 20 cents per on Card Kingdom buy list, which is pretty reasonable. Honestly,
that's what retail is on, because it was just in the Lathril deck, and the Lathril deck.
Jesus, Imperious Perfect is dead.
That's crazy.
It's a rare in the Lathril deck.
They used to be a $4 card.
It's a 21 cent card in Commander Legends.
Mm-hmm.
We're boomers.
It's funny that Lathril deck actually. Lathril's the 4th most popular commander of the week on EDH Rex. People are still building it on a Lathril more than anything from Crimson Vow. Crazy. So I actually have a card that's predicated on the Lathril deck. Also, it is from what is that set? Onslaught. It is a green common from Onslaught.
Is it the enchantment that gains mana for elves, like Elvish Guidance? I think it's called.
I'm gonna need the exact name of the card.
Elvish Guidance.
Yeah, you got that too fast though.
Okay.
Yeah, Elvish Guidance is it's worth money. And
I was like, it's either Well Wisher or Elvish Guidance or Birchlaw Rangers, and that was the first one I picked.
Yeah. Elvish no one's gonna give you bulk with Birchlaw Rangers in it, but you will get bulk with Elvish Guidance all the time. All that there's so much stuff that just like alpha status and stuff like that from that era that it's just a dumb tribal card, you know. But
anything
actually
that says
it really gets there.
Pick a creature type is pickable for the most part. Basically anything that says choose a creature type is a pickable card.
And Pact of the Serpent was 50 cents forever, and I was like, why is Pact of the Serpent 50 cents? Choose a creature type. Target player draws X cards and loses X life, where X is the number of creatures they control the chosen type. You can kill somebody with this, but you can also draw a lot of cards with it.
What's the fear enchantment from Onslaught? Cover in Darkness or something like that?
Cover in Darkness. There was a whole cycle. Like
that card is Cover in Darkness is like $40 now.
I mean, it when the tribal commander set came out, all that stuff, Steely Resolve, Cover in Darkness. That whole cycle got
Cover
a look.
of Darkness.
The white one,
some YouTuber's going to be pedantic. It is Cover of Darkness. We're going to catch it. Don't worry.
Cool, man. You're at a computer right now. Congrats on having access to a computer. I'm in my car. I don't care. I can't argue with you. I can't hear what you're saying, but I assume that it's annoying. I don't know.
I've got a blue uncommon from
I'm done talking about Pact of the Serpent now.
Right. I have a blue uncommon from...
You guys didn't cut me off and interrupt me.
Never would.
I was done.
Good. Blue uncommon Conspiracy.
Conspiracy Onezo?
Uh-huh.
Mamma mia.
It's a conspiracy card.
Is it a Draft Matters card or is it a Magic the Gathering card?
I don't know what that means. It's a conspiracy card.
Is it a will of the council or is it a conspiracy specific card?
It's a will of the council.
The blue one is split decision.
It's counter or copy. It's like you either counter the spell or copy the spell for 2 mana depending on the vote, I think.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yes, it is split decision and great. It's a 2 mana instant. Choose target instant or sorcery. Each player votes for denial or duplication. If denial gets more votes, it's counter. If duplication gets more votes, you copy it and copy. So this moved up to $1 recently, earlier this year. It's settled at about 75 cents. So yeah, this is just if conspiracy.
It's still
is
worth
a set
less than
without,
Deal Broker.
Yeah, conspiracy is a set with not a ton of great picks necessarily, but this is one of them.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that was decent got reprinted too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that set is not great, especially at the common slot.
I mean, like, there's so many cards worth something now, and Wizards has been playing whack-a-mole for so long. Even we joke about it. It's a fact. There are 8 million cards printed a year. That's still not enough for Wizards to play catch up. Wizards could be printing cards at twice the speed they are now, and twice the products they are now, and more cards would still go up than there are cards going down because of reprints. Like, do you know what the price of Pitiless Plunder is right now? It's
we
like
were just
$13.
talking about this on Twitter. I was actually going to mention Pitiless Plunder because, and if they do reprint it, it'll be in a supplemental set as a Mythic or something like that. So like, it won't actually go down.
Pitiless Plunder is $12 right now, and they could reprint it in a set and then get it back down to 3 or 4 or whatever. And then they have to go chase other cards that are getting expensive, that are creeping from 1 to Pitiless Plunder range, and then Pitiless Plunder will catch up to that.
Yes, that is all true. However, it is also true that they're doing a better job than ever before. I mean, 5 years ago, would you have ever believed that Imperious Perfect would be nickel? Right? We would have said no way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, there's also cards that they just like overprint. Like Vampire Nighthawk was one they just kicked into the ground over and over and over and over again.
Well,
we said, go ahead.
Well, now they get to do that too. You know, it was sort of back then. It was like they got so few avenues to reprint cards. It was sort of like they chose Vampire Nighthawk. They were like, this is a $3 uncommon. We want this to be the new standard of the power level you can expect because it was so popular as a card. But never, it was never felt unfair. It was just very popular. And so that's what they did. But now they have the ability to do that to 15 cards a year. So, give it a couple years at this rate, and they may start to actually make some progress. Possible.
You know what happened? This podcast has so much reach that we mentioned that Eternal Witness would be a pick forever. And Watsy's like, oh, we got our marching orders from the manipulation cabal again. We got to reprint Eternal Witness. And then they printed it so much that it's worth nothing just to make us look stupid.
Happened.
But meanwhile, Pitiless Plunderer has 1 printing.
Well, you know what would be a good way to fix cards with issues of being too popular? What if we could
change their text?
Yeah, what if we could just make them... We could just... companion rules change them. Say whatever we want them to say. Well, you're in luck because Alchemy is coming to MTG Arena. Alchemy being Hearthstone. We can rebalance cards whenever we want.
So,
Arcane. Arcane is such a good name. Hey, give us a name like Arcane. Call it like Alchemy, like something like Alchemy, but not as stupid.
Yeah, so I've talked a lot on this podcast about Magic as a set in stone game that can't be changed. And I love the concept of Alchemy, the format, in terms of I love the concept of allowing Magic designers to buff and nerf cards. I agree that Alchemy is probably the worst thing they could have named it, because the entire concept of Alchemy in fantasy is converting your things to money, which is what Arena doesn't let you do. So
I thought Alchemy was when you fused your daughter with a dog.
That too.
Like some sort of Innistrad thing. That's Alchemy, right?
Yes. That
Corbin
is
exchange.
Corbin doesn't know what we're referencing, but yes.
Nope, I don't. At all.
Oh, that must be nice to not know that. That must be nice that every time you see 4 panels with stick drawings, you're like, oh, that's lost. It must be nice to just have a completely blank slate of a brain and not have it poisoned by the internet. I really envy that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Do you not remember what I said before you started talking? Jesus. You're like a goldfish. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Agreed to this.
Did you watch Moana all day? Like, why are you saying you're welcome when it's not appropriate?
Make his shiny cards. I know you watch Moana all day.
I used to.
Exactly.
Now I watch something called Sonic Boom, which is Sonic the Hedgehog, but it looks like it was made by the same people that made the Dire Straits Money for Nothing music video.
Sure. So anyways, Alchemy exists. We Hearthstone now. What's interesting to me is how many people didn't like it or had a problem with it.
My biggest complaint is that I'm going to get Facebook Messenger people like messages asking for the cards that are digital only. That is going to be a thing that happens. It's a small inconvenience and it's funny, but like there being a disconnect.
What do you mean but? Why does there need to be a but after it's a small inconvenience that's funny?
I mean, like, I was going to say but in that, like, it's not good for, like, systems and stores to have those kinds of disconnects in terms of people, like, looking for products that don't exist. It is probably good. Like, the net gain probably outweighs the net loss for Magic, but, like, I don't know.
That's such a, like, small concern in the world of secret layers and acorn symbol.
Sure.
That's just an education thing. That's not, to me, a big deal. But also my thing is, Historic exists. They've already had Historic Horizons where they just input a bunch of digital-only cards, which impacted the format. They ran like a limited time event offering this. Frankly, I'm surprised they didn't pull the plug on Standard entirely and convert it entirely into Alchemy. Like, it's obvious this is what Arena was going to do, and they've been separating Arena from the other play for a while, right?
Yes.
Like, they run these Magic Online events that they just operate separately from Arena. Arena does its own thing, and then they have all their the paper board championships that were going on this weekend and things like that. So it's like, I don't know. Like, it seems clear to me that this wasn't anything new. It's just now we have it for Standard, not just Historic. And if you don't like it, cool. You can play normal Standard. But to me, this is mostly all upside. In that they're separating what digital play does well and what paper play does well. But maybe Standard will be fun now. Every other format's fun. Standard will be fun. It's not very fun right now.
It's still crazy.
It's hard to have a strong opinion when you don't care. Like, I will never play Arena, so I get, like, all I can do is echo what people who are mad are saying, but like they haven't tried it yet. And as a parent, anytime someone complains about something they haven't tried yet, it's just infuriating. I don't like watermelon. Have you had watermelon? No. Well, how do you know it's bad? 'Cause I don't like Hearthstone. Why would I like watermelon Hearthstone? Good point. Just eat the fucking watermelon. I'll listen to your take in a month. How about that?
Normal Standard is still existing on Arena. If no one wants to play Alchemy, no one will play it.
That's the wild thing to me, that like Standard still exists. Remember when rotation was the most important part of Magic?
Yeah.
Like, cards rotate.
Remember the end of Moto Redemption was a thing that we all tracked?
Yeah. Well,
the Magic that exists now is so far removed from the Magic that we all got good at finance in. And now, in a lot of ways, it's easier to make money. In a lot of ways, it's much harder.
We stayed current and updated with the times.
That's not true. I mean, I could go on like a 30-minute tangent right now about how like the Magic economy, not even the Magic economy, right? The Magic, like, I guess, industry, and like how cards move and flow behind the scenes, and like how like cards are bought and sold and sorted, and all this stuff is like vastly different than it was like 3 or 4 years ago, and most people haven't really noticed. But that's just a whole like pointless like how the sausage is made thing.
Do that 30-minute rant. We will use none of it, and then Corbin and I will laugh at you.
That's fair. I'll make a brain bite of it. How about that?
Great idea, which you can find at youtube.com/Brainstorm Brewery.
I mean, if you go back a couple years to the last time we did one, sure. I get to post the alt fourth brain bite I did roughly every couple of weeks on a Facebook group.
There you
When
go.
people are like, how do you know if it's alt fourth? I tell you it's fourth. It's named alt fourth because it's my fourth edition stuff. So I'll tell you if it's alt fourth.
Jason, how much of the reason that you care about alt fourth related to your, is it 100% or just like 90?
Well, I got my name from alt fourth, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, good point.
it's 100%.
No one believes that though because you're oldest.
You can change your name.
Yeah. You don't think you can change your name?
Jason's name pre alt fourth was Whack Tackle. You don't believe that?
Boys, I just thought maybe he would have the breakfast cereal hookup or whatever you call.
Our goldfish are breakfast cereal now, like corn.
Well, so does my 2-year-old. So okay. Here's what we do. We have it be a Patreon challenge. I'll eat a bowl of goldfish crackers with milk like it's a bowl of cereal.
Okay, no joke. I actually eat like bowls of goldfish, not with milk, but like I will consume that snack until it is physically painful.
If we get to 500, which will never happen.
Yeah,
bro. What if it was good?
A big bowl, the same as my cereal bowl. And if it's like, oh, he's just going to use a small bowl. No, if my wife knows that I'm being punished for something, she's going to give me the biggest bowl we have. So I'll eat a bowl of goldfish crackers like it's breakfast cereal. If we get to 500 patrons by December 31st, 2021. You heard it here first. Or just you're on the fence and you're like, yeah, I've been making tens of thousands of dollars every year with Jason spending tens of thousands of dollars every week. Yeah. Someone bought all my Infernal Genesis.
Okay, if someone wants to set up some shill accounts.
If you've been making tens of thousands of dollars from this podcast with our money saving and money making advice, and you want to give $1, the smallest bill possible, to us.
I've been selling all these specs
you could be
to
a
Jason.
person
It's been
who
crazy.
gets in on the let's make Jason eat goldfish crackers out of a bowl of cereal with milk on it. Sort of, you can get on that train. Because, what if it is good? If it is good, I won't tell you. I'll just be like, oh, this is bad. And then 2 years from now, I'll come out with goldfish crackers cereal.
And on that note, a reminder that if you do sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/BSB, we have some of those special end of the year rewards going out in addition to all the normal rewards. And on that note, it is time for Pick of the Week.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
I'm going to go first because I have a fun one here. And that card is Goblin Charbelcher. Eternal Master. Dual deck Merfolk vs. Goblins are your two printings since Mirrodin. Card is about $1.50 right now. And it's not going to be $1.50, $2 for long. This card's going to be $5 at least because this deck is good in Modern. Not just good, very possibly one of the better decks in the format. It's difficult to play, but it uses the Zendikar Rising DFC lands, so it doesn't have any lands in the deck when you activate Charbelcher, but it can pretty reliably get a Charbelcher into play and activate it on turn 3 or so. And then it has sideboard plans when people try to sideboard against the Belcher. So it's actually positioned very well. And who doesn't love Belcher being a playable deck? So the card Iron Crag Feat, the other one to look at here, gives you 7 mana. You can cast one more spell this turn. That spell is Goblin Charbelcher.
Corbin likes it because it has the word feet in the name.
So anyways, $1.50 on Goblin Charbelcher. Iron Crag Feat's a bulk rare. So a couple different ones to look at there. Take your pick. But Belcher!
I can't unhear Iron Crag feet now. I did that to myself, but I don't like it. Please stop talking about Iron Crag
that one.
Or Foot Bottom Feast. All right. I guess I'll go since I made myself sad. Maybe someone else can make me sad. and check the spreadsheet to see if I've already picked this in Year of Our Lord 2K21, but Lathril is getting built a lot, and a card that I think still has some room to grow is Throne of the God Pharaoh. If you get that under $5, you did pretty well. Throne of the God Pharaoh is an unfair card that I don't know if they can reprint. And any go wide deck, from Krenko to Amara Soul the Accord to Lathril Blade of the Elves, any go wide deck at all is going to get quite a bit of damage from Throne of the God Pharaoh. It's a great card. Have I picked it this year? I hope not. Because it's one of those cards that I look at a lot. I'm like, why hasn't this gone up yet? But I don't know how often I pick it. At least once a week, I'm like, this is still under $5. So eventually it will be over $5, and it'll be because
Do you want me to tell you?
10 grand on them. So yeah, have I picked it?
No, you're in the clear.
So I realize that this pick of the week game is not a guessing game or quiz, but I will add that portion to it for this week.
Sure, man.
Can you name the 5 most expensive cards in Amonkhet? One's a freebie, one's an anointing procession. That one's just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
God.
Gronus is number 3. We are pricing these based on MTG Stocks data, which is the proud sponsor and market manipulator ally of Brainstorm Brewery. If you're interested, you can throw us $1. You can give them the rest of your money and get MTG Stocks Premium. You get access to all the cool stuff, the monthly trends, the price alerts, the data that shows which cards are underpriced based on trends in inventory movement. So like when cards are starting to sell out, not when their prices change, but when the inventory starts to sell out from under the card, which causes the higher priced cards to be next. The insights from Stream Sage, which hooks up to Twitch and does all that fancy tech stuff that I can't explain, but Corbin probably could. MTG Stocks Premium. Check it out. And give us $1. Give us one, give them like 25. That's the ratio we have set up.
We just got to get to 500 so we can watch Jason eat goldfish swimming around and.
So yeah, Jason, what was so like Mythics from Amonkhet?
Yeah,
Ronus, Annoying Possession. Yeah, so Combat Celebrant's one of them. Like it's a combo card that goes infinite with some stuff.
Yeah.
What if I told you that one of those 5 was Bantu's Monument?
It's not true because Plague Belcher is worth more than Bantu's Monument.
That depends if you sort by market price or not. Bantu's Monument has a market price of like $7, and I've sold copies for 10 today.
Bantu's Monument was one of my breaking bulk picks from 2 years ago.
Right. So I'm not picking Bantu's Monument. I'm picking Oketra's Monument at $2. Because Bantu's Monument has, I am perfectly happy selling out of those at 10. The direct low on those is 10.
Guess what's played in exactly between Bantu's Monument and Oketra's Monument? Exactly in the middle. Guess what card? Throne of the God Pharaoh, baby!
Sure. So, Oketra's Monument is my pick. It makes warriors. It makes your white creatures cost less. I realize that black is more powerful a color in Commander, therefore Bantu's Monument sort of eclipsed.
Bantu's Monument's good because you don't need to play it in a black deck. Any deck that loops creatures, there's no reason that it has to be in a black deck. Oketra's Monument, it's a little more fair, I think.
Oketra's Monument's also a combo piece in competitive format. Specifically the card White Mane Lion, or any other white creature that returns.
Right, yeah, it makes infinite such and such, but like it has one printing. It's just from Amonkhet, and I think that it could still just continue to get soaked up over time. I don't think it hits the 10 that Bantu's did, but like if you need them, grab them. It could get reprinted, but like if it does, double down.
The foils are like $10 on Bantu's Monument. Where like TCG player, you're really getting 10s on them.
I get $10 for LP Bantu's Monument. I think I had to list it for $9.98 right now.
The foils are like 11. That's bonkers. Buy foils, I guess. Bantu's Monument bonus pick, baby.
So let me. JJ can cut this in.
You know what? I'll buy them so they go up.
Filters,
Let
foil.
me buy them.
Yeah, so there you are right. There is a lightly played foil for $9.99 with $1.49 shipping. Mine are listed for $9.98 to sell on direct. So the direct premium is really what it is.
Oh my god, I'm buying the cards from DJ to make the pick go up. It's like playing golf at your own resort.
The rabbit hole continues to deepen.
You know what you could do after that? You could use Patreon money to golf at your own resort. Call that being president.
We haven't touched the space stick in like a month. Don't you want to touch the space stick?
Listen to this.
Want to ride it?
You know what that was? That's me pouring another beer. It's going to get lit over at raft.com/brainstormbsb.
I'm going to type that URL in for science. It's loading. It's loading. There's nothing there.
Raft.com/brainstormbsb.
There's nothing there. The URL's available. We could buy it.
Yeah, how much does GoDaddy want for it? Do they want $70,000 like they want every URL they can squat on? Those monsters over at GoDaddy. More like Stay Mommy, am I right? Got him. All right, anyway, I started the show. I'm going to end it. That's our podcast. Thank you for listening. I'm the main host, Jason Alt. You can find me on Twitter by typing my name into Twitter. You know, if you just type Jason Alt, you'll get the journalist, but he follows me. So if you go into people that journalist Jason Alt is following, I'll be in that list of people. So you can find me on Twitter that way. What about you guys? Where are you online?
You can type in #CardGarden on Twitter, and you'll more than likely find a post by me. I buy and sell magic cards for a living. My DMs are always open. My email will be in the show notes, or a link to my Twitter, which will then have a link to my email. I buy and sell cards. And thank you.
Card accessories.
And card accessories.
I'm Corbin Chosler.
Anyway,
online.
that's our cast, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.